welcome to Chapter 29 of Learning Objective 4, where we're going to talk about the different money that is in the money supply. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. And I think there we go. Okay. So when we talk about the money supply, there used to be three different definitions of money in terms of the type of money that we have. Now there's only two. So there's M1 and M2. We call this money stock, which is the amount of money circulating in the economy. And we normally look at money stock in terms of M1, and we're going to define these in just a moment. M1. Okay, so we have in M1, it is the most liquid types of currency. So we talked about that last objective. So the most liquid. So obviously currency or paper bills, coins handed in the public, that is very liquid, so that's part of M1. Demand deposits are also part of M1. Okay, again, looking at it in terms of liquidity. So M1 is the most liquid. Okay, M2 includes everything in M1. So all of this up here in M1 is included in M2, plus some what we call longer time deposits. Okay, so I would say these are a little less liquid, if I can put it that way. I think that makes sense. There's a great figure in your book, figure 1, so you can have the same figure, and it talks about what things would be included in M1, what things are in M2 additionally, and remember that M2 includes everything in M1. So this is always a nice multiple choice question to ask about in a testing type of situation. There's one question that we talk about, and that's like, where's all the currency? So there's a roughly, in 2019, $1.7 trillion in currency in circulation. And we know that the average adult holds about $6,500 worth of currency. Some of the currency is held abroad, and we're going to talk a lot more about that in chapters 31 and 32 in terms of how does that work. But right now, remember, we're closing down the economy. There's also a lot of illicit or illegal activities which are part of it. Now, currency itself, having a stockpile of cash is not necessarily the best thing to do. If you look at this, this is like, okay, all the cash mysteriously missing from the treasury into the trillions of dollars, and we can look at it in a curve that goes up like this. And again, where might that be? Offshore accounts, things like that. So not a good way because, you know, it doesn't earn interest, so therefore inflation would erode the purchasing power of that. Because remember, nominal interest is equal to the real rate of interest plus inflation. So if you're earning the nominal interest rate, you're kind of keeping pace with inflation in that respect. Hi, and welcome to Chapter 29, Learning Objective 2. I know 1 was really short, 2 is actually even shorter. So let's go ahead and jump right into our PowerPoint slideshow. Here we go. All right. So in this objective, we're going to list and describe the 3 functions of money. So this is a great test question. I always like this one. So if we talk about the 3 functions of money, the first function is a medium of exchange, and that's the one that we're almost familiar with. So if you want to buy a good, you're going to exchange some money for that good. So that's our medium of exchange. A unit of account is the worth of an object. How do you decide how much something's worth? And it's usually based upon the prices that people charge for that. Okay. A store of value basically says if you have $1 in 2020, and then in 2021, you still have a monetary dollar. We know inflation might kick in and some things might happen which erodes the value of that dollar, but on its face value, it still does say $1. So that's the store of value. So the 3 functions of money, again, good test question, medium of exchange, unit of account, and a store of value. Okay. All right, so that's the end of this particular learning objective. And so again, short, sweet little clips. And then I'll see you back for the third objective where we talk about the different kinds of money. And there's a great video that I have that takes a look at the difference between money versus barter. Actually, I'm going to show you the money versus barter one now, and then we'll go with objective 3. Thanks.
In a very simple economy with very few goods, people can barter. But when the economy grows, barter trade becomes ineffective. Let me explain this with a simple example. There was a small village by the river. At first, there were only 2 families. One of them bred rabbits, and the other grew wheat. To diversify their diet, they traded with each other. They agreed that 1 bag of wheat would be exchangeable for 1 rabbit. After some time, other families began to settle in the village. Every family produced something else. Some of them produced clothes, others fished, and still others bred cattle. Over time, there were many goods and services. A shoemaker sent his daughter Catherine to get a bag of wheat. The girl took the shoes and went to the farmer to propose a trade. The farmer agreed because he needed shoes, and so they exchanged. The next day, the shoemaker sent Catherine again to get another bag of wheat. But this time the farmer replied, "I'm sorry, I don't need a second pair of shoes, but I will give you wheat for a box of apples." So Catherine went to the gardener and proposed to exchange the shoes for some apples. The gardener replied, "I never wear shoes in the summer. I won't be needing them for at least 6 months. I can give you apples in exchange for new horseshoes for my horse, though." So the girl went to the forge, but the blacksmith said that he will give her horseshoes only for a new pair of trousers. Finally, the local seamstress agreed to exchange shoes for trousers. Unfortunately, this wasn't the end. It took Catherine half a day to find someone who needed shoes, but it took another half a day to finally get the wheat that she wanted. It's a little hard to do shopping this way, isn't it? Barter trade is ineffective and time-consuming. People need something that can be used as a medium of exchange, something everyone can accept. They needed money. Money has specific properties. It is a medium of exchange, which allows us to avoid the problems that Catherine had. It's also a unit of account and can be used as a measure of costs and revenues through market prices. Here are some characteristics of money that allow it to be used this way. It's durable, which means it should last a long time without breaking. It's homogeneous, which means that each unit should be identical. Portable, so that it's small enough that you can carry it with you. Divisible, so that you can make change. And importantly, it should maintain its value over a long period of time, so your saving would be worth the same even after many years. Throughout human history, there have been many media of exchange, like cattle, salt, or seashells. None of these lasted very long as money. Cattle, for example, wasn't divisible, interchangeable, or easily portable. It also didn't maintain its value over a long period of time. Salt becomes stale over time, so it loses value, and it wasn't homogeneous because one bag of salt could be better quality than another. However, one thing did emerge that had these qualities: gold and precious metals, which can be minted into coins or bars. Gold can be a medium of exchange and a unit of account. We can count up the number of gold coins something costs. It's durable because it doesn't corrode and it can last 1,000 years. It's homogeneous because all 1-ounce coins are identical and can be marked for purity. Coins are portable too, so a lot of purchasing power can fit in one's pocket. It's divisible because the coins can be different weights. And what's most important, gold has been a very stable store of value because its quantity is limited by nature. Only a small amount of gold is mined each year in comparison to the quantity already in circulation. Because of these properties of gold, it has served as money for most of human history. In modern times, however, the whole world has abandoned the gold standard. We'll see the consequences of this in the next videos. Please subscribe.
Hi, and welcome to Chapter 29, Learning Objective 3. And in this objective, what we're going to do is to take a look at the different kinds of money. And the video you just watched alluded to that, the one that was at the end of Objective 2. Let me go ahead and share my screen with you and kind of show you some of the the different kinds of money. And there's actually two. Okay. So the two types of money, the first type of money is what we call commodity money. And commodity money has a value in and of itself. So, for example, some things that have had commodity money, shark's teeth, and if they have a value probably to collectors or people who like sharks. Tobacco has also been commodity money because it has a value aside from its value in trade. So when we look at it, we used to have a gold standard. So all the paper money that you had available to you could be converted into gold. You could go down and get a certain amount of gold. We no longer have that. So commodity money, the asset itself has an underlying value. Gold is commodity money. However, the type of money that we use is called fiat money, and it's only used because we believe it has value. If you look at these rolls of $100 bills, really they're just paper, kind of cloth paper type of material, but it doesn't have any value. And yet, if we look at it, we say, well, that's $100. Can buy 100 things at the dollar store. So it's interesting that it is very belief sensitive, belief oriented. Could we come up with something else? And the answer is absolutely we could. If we all agree on the values and we were able to print those kinds of things and make them available for a medium of exchange, store of value, and a unit of account, we could use something else instead of money. But because money's accepted, well, pretty much everywhere, particularly money that we have in paper form, um, it becomes difficult to start your own little society with your own little money. Um, just as an aside, it's interesting that during the coronavirus, some stores were not taking actual cash money because the number of hands that it had chased, it had been through, and all of the germs that it could possibly be exposed to. So you kind of see those things happening. It's pretty interesting. Okay, this is a very short one because it highlighted a lot of the stuff that was already in the video. So that's the end of this learning objective, and I'll see you back in learning objective 4. Thanks.